94.7 Asempa FM so ne Ekosiisen dwumadi no waso guso a otie no yeda mu nyina ase a minute more to 5 p.m. The discussion segment no ehhehye so said the munim dada no Franco Trading Enterprise eboayen Tabia Herbal Yara Ghana Blue Crest University College and Irata Motors omudi speed made batteries and oil aba so far Atik Mohammed ewaha Samson Fred Agbenyo atnase ye hwe nim se Dr. Bernardo Koboy eba beka yen ho na fe ya shase edi enkomo intimonshane nso emfa emayen Atik ma memra wo ho na fe yen shase issue ben na opese what they start and emayen ma mintio
it has NDC before in the Fred Beckham was him. And to the extent that it was trading of accusations between Omune and PPD, I don't think so. Is anything new to me can was him. But the one say Omuchenya after 1 month, I've been Omuka post registration. Yeah, by exhibition saying and Omuka ni and I mean, well, time in there is subject is a matter of choice and it's a matter of discretion. When I be decided time what do issues beba. But me the way I Japan I would have expected
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
And to when body test.
Okay. When they antigen there
antibody test.
Oh, wait, antibody.
These are the rapid tests.
Okay.
COVID-19.
It's like pregnancy test.
Yeah.
Who results in how many minutes?
Instant.
We are in the big
Wow.
But
program.
That's why I'm saying that.
Okay, Doc. I'm coming to you so you explain. There is a statement from Ghanaians in Belgium. No. Fabra, my means here. Mommy and fancy her.
My inventor. So we in the bed near.
Let it be here.
Yes.
I take trust on me. Yes.
Let me say. Oh.
Doc, Munya botre mo ma take you. Why? I take
Master, what do you know? No.
On representing party be. Or representing the
another fact I'm seeing contesting just me free PS.
Yes, I take, let's go.
But Jomunzo Moisi na higher should do. Jackson.
I think be could obey your home, don't worry.
Ghana Moye Niana Zabet no she
Anyway,
let me say I was expecting say Yenuanum NDC4 or press conference you would be on an issue that is more burning and pressing, but they decide which issues are important to them. Having said so, Ejapai one of the topics I see Yankan Hwasem.
Yes.
And
you would want to stick.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
Yes. I'm the Minister Fred will head your welcome press conference no Hwasem. Yedi kind monetizing minerals income. Enya di fufro and enya di bone in principle. But what is critical is the structure, the nature and the form of the monetization, and the vehicles are used to do some monetization. No, and are very important. But the idea in principle are very important. Now, Usha Ghana's revenue and our government of Ghana's revenue from minerals, in fact more than 3, but the major ones are me concentrate on. No.
10% equity.
Equity, we have the 5%, well, between 3 to 5% royalties. No? And a corporate income tax of 35%.
Yeah.
And none sources are about any sika be pa a free minerals. And if you want to monetize, you are looking at how to maximize the value of these receipts. And nuna among Krofu, they suggest all kinds of vehicles to do so. And Ghana, you say, here, say we maximize the value of minerals income. And Yokofa Mrebi Baye, I have friend Minerals Income Investment Fund 2018, Act 978. Say, Enuna provided the guidelines. If a kwaya yebiti me, enya value kasi every sika yeji no. And it must be noted, I've heard people say, oh, we have not had the benefits of gold since we started mining this animal. And you know, you may say we have not had specialized arrangements dealing specifically with minerals income. But why? Our budgets, how do we support our budget? It is through tax and non-tax revenue. Do you share government revenues? No. Sorry. A greater percentage, in fact, the share of minerals income as a percentage of total government revenue, it does change all other components.
Yeah.
And it tells you say yenyam faswo, but yen shadan create special arrangement because we did like we did with oil. We have the Petroleum Management Revenue Management Act that deals with managing just oil proceeds. Yen yes how with minerals. Until you wait to make us about to say yen shadan yen faswo. Acquire ye ACPT IECC. Apart from those that we contract from loans, and in fact, near Yakoji Busiankra we pay with tax revenues. So some of our tax expenditures go into interest payments. But going forward, we need to have special arrangements. With gold, with diamonds, and all other minerals. And I listened to Obi, the person was in your studio, trying to equate income receipts from minerals to, in fact, monetizing royalties to the sovereign wealth funds in the Scandinavia. They are slightly different and yet the same. You can equate that to our heritage funds. What is here? And that is comparing apples with apples. But maybe you can say in the long term, I say to me arrangement be investing for Dachi for and so on. But you can't equate the two as a by near the same. Now, and I made mention of the various revenue streams and the various income sources when it comes to minerals revenue. Na bakwa me I was I was saying if we wanted to monetize minerals income, we should be looking at the 10% free equity interest.
Enumum,
and I'll explain why. All the royalties there, low hanging fruits. Because it is calculable on your total revenue. Which means you don't have to wait for profits and sign away to your royalty. Once you do production, given the prevailing value and our cost or and price of gold.
Demand for gold.
Exactly. You are able to calculate and pay government. Until you don't have to wait to do all your costs and then do the deductions when you're a profiter and sign
what we are royalties.
Exactly. But with the 10% free equity interest, it is calculable on your profit. So you are waiting for dividends. And there are a lot of papers people wait. I mean, a lot of the mining companies declare non-profitability. For 7 years or so on your profits here. Meanwhile, the person is still in production. It is not as if they don't do production, but nobody does cost audits. A buying an auditor more cost, So when you overstate your cost up to a point, as soon with total revenue, you'll be running losses. And it is not as if in no credit they are not profitable, but it's because of being your audit cost, And if you were to float sa interest whoever is going to manage it will make sure mining companies declare the right amount of cost and eventually declare the right amount of profit.
But practically, how do you check that?
How do you check what?
How do you check on more cost? Because
exactly
information on more amount.
No, once you have an equity interest, it means you are also a shareholder.
Absolutely.
You must have a representation on the board.
And there are representations on the board.
And one say I buying, and I'm not trying to say I buying Jumabia. We tend to record ineffectiveness. Imagine a private entity in what's our shares. It will be difficult for some of the mining companies that my production for 10, 12 years
declare losses.
And yet you are producing what you be that? Say I'm running losses. They are not even saying they are breaking even. They are running losses, and yet you are still doing production. And this is not a social enterprise. This is a business entity. And it doesn't make sense. It tells you something is wrong somewhere. People buy shares. Whoever is going to manage it will ensure the right profits are declared. And again, looking at the trajectory, it appears gold demand is rising. And once the demand is rising, it means production is also going to rise.
Yeah.
And profits are going to keep coming, are going to also rise. Which means dividends now through our equity shares, you know, and our equity interest, you know, and also because you are dealing with two things in one. You are getting rid of a situation whereby government has interest but is not profiting from it. And secondly, so you are also making sure, say, you are monetizing side in a way you can raise upfront funding.
Yes.
Yes. But you go and take the low-hanging fruits,
which is
royalties. And no, problem and
but which one so nebeye, because the end game they say, how do you craft something, a product potential investors would love to invest in?
Absolutely. So
with equity and looking at all the and these investors read around.
Of course, that is true.
They know, they are aware.
That is true.
How would that be appealing to them?
Absolutely. It is not all the mining companies that declare non-profitability. And be one of the companies or dividend government due dividends.
Yeah.
Some huge amount of money. They'll read around and they'll know, say, oh, and your money now. And I have always made this point, look, when it comes to extractives, we have a problem. We could even legislate as part of ensuring, say, we get our due by way of equity interest.
Yeah.
We can legislate, one say, our ETI, the Extractive Transparency Initiative. It's just an initiative. Yeah. But who call Canada? What they have is the Extractive Sector Transparency Measures Act. Okay. And all mining companies are supposed to disclose.
Yeah.
All will cost. Until we can legislate on the ETI to make it a law, so that it will become attractive to investors to know that you're investing in this. We can easily tell their cost, and so that way, like I said, you are maximizing your value from equity interest, no, and at the same time, so you are dealing with the problem of people having to shortchange government.
On Asempa FM.
But for royalties, it's a low-hanging fruit. And we share the projection. In fact, let's take the 2019 royalty payments are buying conservatively $200 million US. It is 1-something billion Ghana cedis. If you are using an exchange rate of 5 cedis, you should be getting around $200 million US. Now, there is, in fact, from 2017, even though from 2017 to 2018, the increase in world gold demand was marginal, but it shot up in 2018, 2019. And with COVID, the demand for gold has actually also shot up. Can you know the reason why from 2017 to 2018, the reason why the demand for gold didn't grow as much as it ought to have was because investment demand for gold echo form. Investors demand for gold no echo form. Says here, investors are the ones looking for gold to buy. It was central banks and technology related MR demand cause. Says here, central banks are buying, investors are buying, technology firms are buying, and so on. So the demand for it has jumped. Until we share 200 million. And I am projecting, and in fact the World Gold Council so a project said the demand for it because for the next 3 years.
Ekosiisen on Asempa.
Until you have 200 million, Yamvan say averagely it could shoot beyond 200, it could come back and all. So averagely Yamvan said 200 million, and this is for modeling and estimation purposes. Yamvan 200 million US annually for 5 years. That's about 1 billion. That is the purchase price for the shares we are seeking to float. That is the purchase price of you can say shares now. The fund is given to Ejapa through royalty code. What I say, and no. If we can have this in 5 years, mind you, the lifespan of the leases and arrangement with Ejapa, it is for the lifespan of the mining leases.
Of all the
mining 48,
16,
they are 48. Who share agreement in one? They are 48. Look at the shadows. They are 48. They are not 16. What is here? There are 48 companies.
In which of the agreements?
Look at the main investment agreement. Look at the investment.
So have you seen the restated one?
Oh.
The amended and restated
absolutely
agreement. So what terms now?
Go to the shadow.
Yeah. Okay.
That is where the taste of the kebab is in the chewing. Go to the shadows. you would find it there. There are 48.
On Asempa
What you here? And it includes mining leases, prospecting licenses, and all of that. What you here? And if we were to say, if for the 5 years, you bet me 1 billion, why would we want to go for the 1 billion and pay for it and sell shares to people for the life of the mining leases? And we share part 1 schedule of schedule 1. Just the first page, Newmont, or more mining lease in one of the communities. In fact, 2 of their mining leases are here. They were given in 2015, which means technically 5 years per no mile. So it means they still have 10 more years.
10 more years to go.
So it means they have 10 more years to pay royalties. And if we are taking just 1 billion, 1 billion is what is the purchase price? 1 billion. Now we are to, and the lifespan of the mining lease is, let's say, for the next 10 years.
On the average, no, sure, about 15 years.
15, no, the Mining Act, no, it allows you to have it for 15 years. But me see a bimu air mining, and that's why I'm saying that Newmont DA, let's say it's even for 10 years. Just imagine an average. And I'm saying average because it is likely prices of gold fluctuate. It is likely say in some years less than 200, in some years Until if we are maintaining that average of 200 million annually, for the lifespan of Sahara mining lease, that's 10 years. That's 2 billion. And yet we are receiving 1 billion. And then my board chairman of the fund was on the show. Also, Omuji 1 billion now, they are going to set up their own mining company. Until it is likely there would even be more profits. We have our history. We have what is our experience with mining, with owning mining companies in this country? Ashanti Gold is was it not for government of Ghana? How did it? I didn't cry. You got to a point and so if you are saying, say, oh, yeah, but you
and they would invest.
No,
in
he said
mining
they will set up their own mining company. That's what he said. Said they will set up their own mining company. Until you are going for a $1 billion money purchase price, and now you are hoping to raise. Now, your hope of maximizing it is to set up your own mining company. And given our history, it doesn't inspire confidence in me. And like I said, Anka, if we were not to even flow these shares, we are likely to get 2 billion by the end of the 10 years. Even though the ideal time frame is 15 years, but I'm using 10 years because it be more a year mining before. Out of 2, instead of 2 billion, you are getting 1 billion. And 1 billion is so. Also, you are going to set up a mining company. And setting up a business is a two-way affair. You can either run losses or make profits. And if history is any indication, we run down a state-owned mining company. And that is the situation. And that's why I'm saying, sir, why don't you go for rather the equity shares, no? You are dealing with 2 problems at the same time. Instead of going for near no. What you say? And the other issue, soon say, there seems not to be a lot of transparency around this whole arrangement. Meanwhile, Act Nankasa, Ushe Section 36, is very clear. It tells you, say, the fund, in respect of the SPV, must make sure, say, there is free access to information. But access to information is becoming a problem.
How?
Good. Do you have an idea how the recruitment process of who becomes a fund director was done?
The fund manager, rather. We are told, sir, an international recruitment firm.
You are told
contract, no?
By whom?
That's what is out.
When you say that is what is out, that's not information you can authenticate.
Of course.
And that's what I'm saying. So,
is it not finance?
I think at the press conference they made that point, but Gabi also reiterated that.
Exactly. So.
No, but finance are more company needing.
They didn't mention any name. They haven't produced any documents.
For the source.
Okay. But another information at best one for Macranke.
Yes.
Because you don't mention the name of the company.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And the other issue is, how did you come by the valuation of
the 1 billion?
The 1 billion. Sir, you can say, Ejapa's subscription share. How did you come to that valuation?
And then the 49% being 600 million. Now coming.
No, I'm talking about 1 billion.
No, also to see official figures are banned says
1 billion. For
That's
51%, you know.
yeah.
Yes.
No, for the 49%. The 1 billion here for the 49%, not the 51.
No.
I thought the read I had was that
No.
you are looking at
No,
If you look at the assignment agreement,
yeah.
this is what it says, and I'm reading point E.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Obi.
Pursuant to clause 4 of the main agreement, which is value of rights assigned to Royalty Co. Of the investment agreement, Royalty Co is to pay the fund USD 1 billion.
Okay.
The royalty value for the rights granted under the investment agreement.
Okay.
And which rights? It is the rights to transfer 51%. You know? What you say?
Yeah.
That is my understanding.
The right to transfer the 75%,
5.6, you know,
no?
which would entitle you to own 51%. You know? And yes, sir.
Yes.
And Namike. What you say?
Okay.
So now, if we are saying, say, I didn't know 1 billion, how did we come? How did then what went into the computation?
Fair question.
What you say?
Fair question.
Until now, we are left to speculation. Oh, maybe when you look at royalties now, and you know, people are going to speculate. We don't know how that valuation was done. That is another point. And meanwhile, the act is telling us we should do this in a transparent. There should be access to information. And it has also spoken about. The act also speaks about transparency. Said in fact, the SPV in the execution of Nyombe Yebia, they should do so in an accountable, transparent, and sustainable manner. But it appears, you know, transparency is becoming a problem. And I make this point about even incorporating a Japa in another tax jurisdiction. Young Kotia, you see, the reason for incorporating in that tax jurisdiction is because it is to excite investors because dividends won't attract any taxes. But the very act that sets up the fund, which makes provision for the fund to set up an SPV, no, catcher will say dividends that accrue to shareholders, to ordinary shareholders, no, should not be taxable.
It doesn't matter the
jurisdiction. No, but of course, if it is in Ghana, you can't tell UK if you go and incorporate it, say they shouldn't tax your dividends. But I think their understanding is that if you incorporate the company in Ghana, the SPV in Ghana, now dividends accrue, the fund cannot tax those dividends. So saying you are going to incorporate the company in JSA because of tax reasons, no, for me, it's unsustainable.
Is it the only reason? Because I've also
that's what I heard.
I think Gabi there are 2 reasons. The other one, and it's say Osha, you are going to play in the equity market out there. There are best practices. There are rules of engagement.
Absolutely.
But in this, Osha say on the London Stock Exchange, non-UK companies are listed with honor. Bare 80% are incorporated in a place like Jersey. And if that is the way to go, why not also do
I can't verify that claim. Say about 80% of non-UK listed companies on the land stock are incorporated in Jersey. I can't verify that, and I'm not sure you can authenticate that too. But granted, you can incorporate a company in Ghana and still list on the London Stock Exchange.
That's true.
Because that is subsequent to meeting certain rules and guidelines. It's as simple as that. And if government performance with relation to the economy has earned it some proper credit rating, we should not have difficulty incorporating a company in Ghana. And with these low-hanging fruits of royalties, every subscriber, in fact, even if it were in the Republic of Gambaga, in the Republic of Ghana, wouldn't say Gambaga is a republic in the Republic
within the Republic of
Even
Ghana.
if we had incorporated it in the Republic of Gambaga, with how juicy this sounds, you would have even still had oversubscription because there's no risk. Royalties, no. Once the mining companies produce royalties, no.
The only risk is for gold prices to
come down. And also, and I've told you the projection for gold demand. Until for me, we need to be told more about why the company was even incorporated in Jersey in the first place, because that tax excuse is unsustainable. Or about tax avoidance, but I don't think it's even about tax avoidance, because the very act that sets up the fund even makes it possible for you to have your dividends paid in Ghana without anybody taxing you. So it is not as if they sent it there in order to avoid tax, which is not illegal anyway. But it is not even for tax avoidance purposes.
Okay.
There is something much more than that. And this claims that a lot of non-UK companies listed on the stock exchange. Look, I think it's unsustainable.
Are incorporated there.
I mean,
and that is where the big boys are. You also have to be there.
No, which big boys?
But no, the non-UK companies
are we saying, say, if we had incorporated Ijapa in Ghana, we couldn't enlist on the stock exchange and still get people subscribing? Is that what we are saying?
I don't think that's the argument.
So why? No, you are saying, so you want to incorporate the company in JC so that they will say, we are also now a big boy. If that is the excuse, then I think it's one of the weakest arguments I've heard in recent times. Which is here. And again,
finally.
Yes, finally. And maybe I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to. We'll share the relationship agreement. We'll share the relationship agreement. There are some very troubling provisions, as a matter of fact. If I can
when a public document. So, Parliament, these are all public documents. Where they amended and restated mineral royalties investment agreement.
Where shows some relationship agreement? I'm sure you have not. Anyway, but I highlighted some very important portions. If we say, hey, where shows you haven't kidnapped?
What kind?
No, it's about voting rights. Good. I wanted to make specific reference to some
voting rights at the board level.
Yes, by the fund.
Okay.
And let me speak specifically to clause 5.11.
Asempa FM.
You see, in fact, even voting rights no sukra, there's an extent to which the fund can vote any Nyomabi and all of that. But clause 5.11 SA, in the case of removal, yes, see, you can, they can move to remove a fund director and all of that. That in the case of a removal of a fund director, pursuant to this clause 5, which is an earlier clause, the fund shall indemnify the company against any liability or loss incurred as a result of any claim made by a fund director against the company. Say, if the fund, which so far is supposed to be the biggest shareholder, the majority shareholder.
In fact, the only shareholder for now.
Oh, yeah, as we speak, yes. Say, if they move to remove a fund director, that fund director feels say, they need to sue. The fund should indemnify Ijapa. But we share the act now. The act makes Ijapa an independent entity that is free to do whatever. The fund only has shares in it, which means that if there is any liability, why do you transfer the liability? If I come to buy shares in your company, now there is any liability arising out of some board decision. You are saying, sir, the company Amabeto shares woman, which has his own legal personality, should be indemnified so that the person who is suing should rather take it up with me Amabeto shares. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense to me. So if a fund director is removed, and can say the fund alone cannot just dismiss Nipanisa, almost it has to be whatever decision they take has to be approved. In fact, majority approval by the independent directors. And that's a way we are. Now Nipani feels aggrieved. Now Osiwa. The relationship agreement is saying, except fund a company no Japan so that they can deal directly with whoever is suing. Because how can I be a shareholder of an entity that has his own legal personality? You are taking decision as body corporate. You company through and deal with the person.
That's an interesting way in there.
Exactly.
I think I'll come back to you into my main home also. Ekosiisen in Higher Asempa FM. Abdul Malik Kwekubako says, did I hear Atik say that the mining leases at stake as captured by the amended and restated minerals royalties agreement approved by Parliament is 48? Where in the agreement is that stated? That's one thing. And I think I drew your attention to the fact that page now can say Schedule 1 they can say allocated mining leases and allocated prospecting licenses. 48 is what we have in the whole of Ghana for now. But no interest and no any the Ejapa royalties no will be transferred to Japan for 16 mining companies. And no 4 out of the 16 under prospecting into 12 and actually production.
Okay.
You know, into
but where in the
that's something you have to get
where in the
but
amended
it is
agreement do you have the 16? Okay,
now we would have to find that one out. But I remember,
if Uncle Kweku is listening, he can help us with the specific.
That will be okay. Mamin Kotie Fred Emra Nafi Yentua. So Fred Agbanyo, minim baby awodo be fa so be hwe mo press conference no so also be ka ejapa Mamin ti. Yeah.
Obi me da se bebre. Mamin fa kwenya we na me ncha wetie fo nyinara. Ene hwe fo nyinara. Omampeni enche 7 December John Dramani Mahama be Ghana mampeni bio. Menuka say on Upper West region. Our share na nanoma himfo any party for. Na
sorry for that room. Go to point I.
Okay.
Pursuant to the Pursuant, you know member. Good.
We are restated, no.
Anyone restated and amended, no.
Okay.
Amended and restated.
Okay.
When you go to point I, pursuant to amended Fund Act, the parties here to wish to amend and restate the initial investment agreement as set out in this agreement, so that this agreement constitutes a consolidated stability and allocation agreement, under which the percentage share of gold mineral received by the fund from time to time in respect of the allocated mining leases comprising at the date of this agreement the 48 mining leases specified in Part 1 of Schedule 1. And you can.
Okay.
We'll
come back to it. Inti my Fred in Casemiro.
Sure,
we'll come back
sure.
to this one.
Sure.
Fred, me patrol me.
Obi me da se bebre.
Yes.
Na me se me fa kwenya we na menda Upper West for nyina ase. Odo ase bi omayidi a kire omampeni John Dramani Mahama eni NDC. Boshia mpenifo nyina nanafo muso omohye. Se bi ampampa omafiansuo, omafiansa. Enkane no anaka yekoto aba na nko bi ni nam se muso menhwe sesi ade ya so obi ahwe ni obi abetimi aye bia ye nyina ye hu enu nti sesi ade Ghana for betimi atake decision a omoye sure say e decision a ebeboa Ghana moving forward ohwe the way amafo bia regret it made them in friends and from so aye no 2016 me hwe ne say adesua na ndipa da sense and rade nya bi wo yakwema ya na ye nti ase obehwe na ye buefu na ye kasakasa, but with time we get to know say nyaminim nyoye the say de maybe obefa bia na Ghana for can say ye hu ampa no kwade o say ntro na adada de odetimi ko show bi nsa edu adwuma na gasa na ohun so enti ye da Ghana for say minuka say ye rani meso na Western North and so Ocean Penny for ho me sure so follow our origin o follow ne ekoso ho so kama we are very, very happy with it. Meba ejapasem no so. Em say atika the academic work. Debi ameka say meba sempa enye lecture theater.
Enye lecture room.
Enye lecture room, enye theater. Ama be me ye sebi ne aba na waka aye wenyina no ne ekoso na Ghana for me ma me bi ete malata market person tiase obi o madina market ne ekoso dia na na do ne mpefo e de Ghana japade e de ye no eno na meba be kirekire mu, but your press conference na ye ne me fan share sem fafrio na article say o emre na ye dey sa press conference we emre na nye na ye sa dey we hwe e Japan ye kan nyina Ghana ho kire aba ye sika asem ne ko nyina se be ye senye ye nyina gina se there is peace and security in Ghana. Nyina gina se ye kwa about 2020 ye beto aba na oman nyina will remain one peaceful country antawantaw biensi. Enti ye kan nyama kese ne ehia nyina no the subject of peace ye ntimi engloss over anase njanto nchese ye kan ho asem na debia meka se sa peace beba na mba ejina some indicators on asempa we when different indicators no so now can peace doesn't come in a vacuum. You know, peace comes as a result of some fundamental principles bia ewo ho a once those are not working, there's no way you can get peace. And nothing and ne ye dwen say e be hia say ye go back after 27 days I hear registration e wie nsem bia esisi no ne go kan wasem. First of all, end this political party ye ma police for the free will say nyamesi e we election mo at the time Messi Ghana for break and wasem omuntimi nyom investigation nyina wie prekope emfa nyama to the way wo, but we think say after 27 days omanya enough time say investigation bi o me ye about some of the issues na by now community nyanwie ne ye hu anamo amatu say bi asotwe bi o head be mo obi to serve as a deterrent as we move into the general election. No, they could have taken all those actions. Unfortunately, till now, me no can say, that say all the reported cases cyber about we saw the videos and what have you. Sebesi nese ya investigation ewie asima say no benti and ye boni bi enta so twi we na de ma no say be ya abato na ye kom no obi eti ne be bi odwen say me ko ya boni bi no be hu say da bi me ya umra ho edim bedi ye hu say
Ekosiisen
electoral commission na gada ba mo ti be kan say yes omoji tum say nya because for ankwe and into me your investigation 27 days na be twa mini up to now ye ntehwe from where we sit. We believe, say, they want the issues to just die a natural death. Omunim say Ghana for the same bar, near Kana 1 week, 2 weeks, and I just saw near Queen. And nothing here comes a Debbie because Afrina, as Samakasi and Agasanda in elections. Say registration Pony for the first time in Ghana's history, the Fourth Republic, in Nipamienu Ashiomonkwa. As a result of just mere registration of persons or Ometuaba. We consider it as a very serious issue. We can't just push another carpet. For the first time, new check mean to me better now if you some card that say this is the first time I hear registration. I get sent to our baby. But also the magnitude. Drew here in this 2020. No, a BNC that we are back with them. A whole minister of state. We are told that on the constituency. We all heard the gunshots. We are told that the police commander never district police commander never honor. Now same see ya all case of your investigation. You transfer nephew. You nephew to be for the about. Only pan or ye eyewitness. Ne nim ne ekoso ni smell on the ground but my investigation no. Muso go jinancho be from bra. Up to now we speak we don't know what's happening. Ye niam salas na ye kuno. E wo bron area ho nyina. Ye kosie no. Besi ne amenu ka sei. Ye hu police report bi e say asima se no benti na esa de we enti ya che no ya de fam rakwa so ya jana sa ni esi wo banda ye nuanom ma se bi miami nkrofo a se bi omo ye adwuma won so votarians e ba ekwe de omo fa so besi ne ye ntehwe okay one major incident ene se ka bi be wro mayimu aka no hwe na registration na mana se bi code d'Ivoire na mana eboso esu enipa de ba omayimu somewhere registration. Yet to the hint of this, we moved in. Uncrophona G2 on live TV cameras they capture mo. Omo ka say sebi omo nye Ghana for. Omo de omo ye Cote d'Ivoire for. Na manfo na de omo ba ye. Evidence available clearly. Actually say if we be omo de omo kwa registration within the Banda constituency, a honor ye MPP stronghold. Omo ko ye. At the time of the registration, na sebi a soldier for hobby. The police commander hobby, the BNI for hobby, national security, MP for Obia hobby. Yet your man say empire 70. Ye free UT before, ye free TV3. On me capture the interview microphone na edin semi na be tudwa. So my investigation. On crofia mo de omoko circuit court was sunyane. MPP regional women organizer. NAD anim and the grant mo nyina bail. At the time the registration san crofo ba ye so mo nya Ghana for nyina. Ye agents so on the ground e challenge you nyina bako nia minim e na nia mra ne kire se obi betro ne din na ye challenge na oye research me fa ne card function sa anameboa apa so be appear for the arbitration oba no timbe kana asem na odibi ma na de card ma no ko ne fie but on this occasion ye true even though they have been challenged your card na ko Cote d'Ivoire we talk that these issues ain't mean jano f2 ye ba be exhibition. And ye be an amobin electoral commission at to their found. And a member na police to that found. The military high command, a den no more can define ya, Yama, omunkro for ye home. Now, many Timakuma name ya. Share, only say BBC, I'm sure you saw that video of Papa Bia. It's about 72 years now. Our year, Juma Ministry of Defense for close to 35 years. What call retirement?
Ekosiisen on
Ne nikra ensure out me one day. Papa koso koye registration na yesi onye Ghana ni. Ne ed ne fame. Na me menim ne baba ko bi. And we spoke about this na assembly here. Pacho. Any brass na make no pacho me find there. There be me we are pacho. Doctor me we are. E kwa di papa ne fast so onye Ghana ni. Oni pa na wa adwuma Ministry of Defense evidence bi atra ha na wa tena ni bi o. E se ma ne kwan. Na obi sebi wanya ade ama wase a. Yam bone krono. When you na akoso intimidation ade ama even voters in their own region. Other regions. One would have thought some Mampenia Quenya could be voter region. So Ghana for her. And for the first time, I really want to speak about this issue publicly. One would have thought, say, Mampeni will apologize for all the things that were done to these people. But as usual, me nte bonnet, me hum bonnet, me enfant me home, that portion, that attitude. Because you know, I'm not for because on the unpaid voter and for then. As if all the things that are happening on my penning say when who and he didn't have any or just say this is some humility. We say, oh, yeah, sorry. You finally say SSB and you mean I'm missing yet. But on my penning behavior ni be actually say Niesi nano or man or no one support. Now Obi the second issue I me Deputy Minister Owo Brown. Me so say tape no what be. Say leak tape bi talk share some of the vigilante groups. Eko planning e kire omo say be court for nyina etawmachi, police for tawmachi, media for they don't amota nechi. Friend say police for tawmachi. And to amon register minor 16 years they kan nyina momusro obi be cross your mo e bet me aboni pa e bet me kuno. This tape is there till the day that we speak. Minister Nimba Mboti me kan da obi bia say Sebi, sa voice ne da sa tape no so no enye me de. Yenti da say na police for can say omo invite nimpo for any form of investigation. Baby aka me for da gbonyi na metena aka de ya. Me wie na abechi me wo gate ano. Say ade me kwakoye investigation. He, ade ba kwa me kan de bia say. Political power we. Aban bia ni wo betena ade so afibol. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do the bidding of your masters. You can become zombies and be taking useless and unlawful orders from every useless person and be doing whatever you want. The day of reckoning will come. And it will come very, 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 very soon. And that is why all of us will need to be very careful. State institutional asset your map no obi. And yes, sir, you need to asset your map. All of us collectively pay the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And they set up all these institutions. Someone ye juma fama ye nyina nya ho fasro. What you are saying, but what we are seeing in this country today is unheard of.
Asempa FM.
It's unheard of. But me jidi a me wo, me confidence a me want to say, Ghana 4 has demonstrated time with that number say they are not a group of people you can suppress. Ghana 4 abutreo. You bet me say di na ehwe. Na yetio. Na say na oya ni yehu emfa ye ho. But when the time comes, say about Tuanamobia, nothing under the sun, it means stop here. We have done that in history. And then, Nigerians get my example be. So, share even colonial master no modi yes, Nam Krumana Samoba, Echineko 2, the first election 1951 election. Then I'm Kruma or Jelansa, election 1951. The man was then filing papers, filing. They had to smuggle the form to him or sign it and they buy the baby. Even himself, he won the election massively. And the colonial masters were compelled to release him to become leader of government business. And the history is there. Go and check Ghana's history. And then Obidrin say, Obabe can Ghana for share, Obabe Tiatia Ghana for so. Yantia at this point, you better some of these concerns. And now I say, Obedu party officer, Obia so not letter ba. Oh, peace this, peace that, election ba, peace this. Don't turn the election and the peace into any galam say something. This is the time for you to speak. All those NGOs and the rest say they want to promote peace. We don't want any chaos in our country. I don't think anybody wants any chaos because we don't have any other country to move to. Ghana, we have a very peculiar challenge. Oko down ha, epuneda ha, epuna odi oko. Oko ha Togo, kasa na moka ground TV di nkembi. Oko ha Côte d'Ivoire, oko ha Burkina Faso. And say they abet tom ene nkwan ha. Nintina nyame abo ne ho moda boy ho ba be si ne. Benyame betimi de ha odi abreye. Enu ana metie mi aminu apeni former MP for Adenta Honorable Sorogu. no can be. Of course, me crossing check here the fact.
So go here Madina
constituency. No can say it's alleged say what information be. Say man for be planning some the conformity voter region. Na ya be attack MPP for pennyphobia. Yeah, attack omu wi a. Na police for kwachi omu. Na ya can so end this on pennyphobia na assume omu say on be sir. Utie say be say but me can so oh this cannot be true. But okay, so my back to what happened in 2008 elections. Yet to a bar, a man for share a them, a plot is a called dumping dead bodies in voter region in other part of the country. Near making the claim, say, end is for the Kunipano. You have a cause to believe an allegation like this. That people are planning whatever it is. But our eyes are wide open. We will not sleep. The police, at least, the police and the security services, Omumayanya Jideka Krawo say, Ghana no mo somono. Ghana no mo somono. There be a account. Nyame promoted this, people taking the laws into their own hands and try to instant justice and the rest. When people lose confidence in the system, say Yakun Salas, Ewo Bron, and Nipa about 7 were arrested in less than 30 minutes. Murder case, you set your money free. Omunam ho, reform ho. Enti se bibi se si ochina, we are so be benya sa jidi ni se me police work reported. The next moment, they will arrest these 7 people and then they will make the instant justice on them. For you, maybe an innocent person among those 7. So they need to work for Mother Ghana. They need to work. Minister, Chief Executive, but Ghana must remain. And they have a responsibility. They be a metaka and say, Sabi, una oye soja ni, una oye police ni, una okra AK-47. O mami if you nibi. O papa if you nibi. O yeri nibi, umba nibi, unyambe me nibi. You must always remind yourself of this. Unibi, shene si na say well somewhere Gan East area ha, you go to share soldier for bisui. I felt so sad and I felt so terrible. But that is what a committed group of people can do. That's what I can do. Major Mama say it's unacceptable. But see, when a group of people are determined, how many soldiers do we have in this country? How many policemen do we have in this country? Is there any way they can stand in their way? So we must not get there. At every point in time, we need to do things. GDA, that's the most important thing. And here the Selector Commission will free say or share both of investigation be. And I'm registering a course now. We have used this platform to remind them. Say please for we free. Say our comes to our Kaswan and Potemua. We are reminding them. Say we are still monitoring. Say you be asking Nakosi saying. So we free. Say you kwama for mienu. As a result of this election, sir, and I'm not paying no more to the phone. And Sunday I call exhibition of the register before 7th of December. And tonight na sir.
Press conference.
Press conference.
Okay.
Say omunje omojuma. Nenyi na yetiminya confidence in the system. E dano so aba. Then we can have a peaceful country. But this mentality and I said this thing is say, oh men fiomo. I was so West Wagos. I by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, my press conference. Then they run away from the elections. And see, oh, that one there, dress razor. Many elections will do the same thing. We want to serve notice that this time round we will not chicken out. This time round we will not run away. This time round we will not go and hide under our beds. We will make sure said ni amrani makwesi enfanye juma no ye dibeye juma. And if that is what anybody has in the back of his mind, say, oh, I was West Wagon, ya buomo, ya promo, say, Debbie, ain't see biom, ain't mean since biom. And this I said, no, be planning there on time. Because ain't mean see.
Fred, Mame Nasi.
Me that's it. Mame move to the Japan.
No, hey, no, why 18 minutes on this? Oh,
the introduction remarks.
You've done 18 minutes.
Oh, why man? I take about 35 minutes.
Now you start. What
5 minutes?
No, see, I was second round. If I no second round, Mame. Why? Ekosiisen high asempa 94.7 FM. Yeah, but second round now. Now you Ejapa. Why? You have that time. Mema atiefo so ente. The official government spokesperson and deputy minister in charge of health, MP for Lejokuku constituency, and there's Obeka health asem. Dog, Accra bana pom to saying.
Oi, unse.
sa title no can na be say Fred Hano.
Yeah.
But title no e bia free the man no untimi nje. The official any minute of information. Official government spokesperson. And I cancel the council e wo asempa.
Yes.
Enti geographically specific designation enti Fred untimi nje. Na medawasi say if you answer any opportunity so far no enra ye call COVID task force meeting no in fact me hu bibi ma I was very inspired and encouraged for the first time no yeah, national figure no is under 1,000 cases active cases yes and as at 31st August 2020 no total active cases in Ghana 904 and we have done recoveries 43,478 out of 44,658 total confirmed cases. Wow. Na obi adia nyankopon na yeda na se say Ghana for aban hihye ye mpa bo bia ba together ama your situation are inspiring. Ebe pacho obi obia
public interest pacho how say e kind no numbers dey cost ro nyina na e kire ne say omo ye testing omo ye contact tracing ni na e ka nyina
ndo so see omo da so yes an na
da so ye na okay and the numbers now say about fem no based on what
okay
yeah obi me can be say sebi when we started time I can say Ghana wa bia 10,000 cases 15,000 only say Ghana you can say 10,000 cases just about maximum about 7% and no more clinically ill. That's the highest. Yeah. The can in Nkofo ya ko chase o man say omo contact. But the US figures not reported from day one no, about the rivers about 90% are clinical symptoms. This are who was symptoms and some testing. So when we were doing the running around, nobody in the world will say when you bring your figures because you went to chase, yours should be put in a different category from the only the so really NIFN routine surveillance need enhance. In fact, we should figure out here. Look at something. The total number of confirmed cases from enhanced contact tracing is 27,081. And a routine here conform more symptoms and now we are 17,000. You know what it means? It means if we were behaving like the US, Ghana's total case up to today would have been about 70,000 cases. So my point is that my inquiry said here, Sebi first now, here 2 nets all over no, and there is okay. But they say our figures are encouraging. And are you testing? And then the second answer is also simple. If Ghana, those times are about 5,000 active cases, the contacts you have to go after, if each case you are going after 10 people, you have to multiply the 5,000 by what 10. So you'll be casting your net to catch 50,000 people, and maybe out of them you can get a number. Yeah. Immediately your active case count starts dropping. It means the contacts you are going after will be few. Yeah. So one can sweeping just say be a decided say me contact credit market. Na ma hu de be e cost market. Na ma call a clinic access everybody. Say untan yes sweeping there and you are going by your active cases. Naturally the test you be doing will not be a lot compared to the previous. But bottom line is say there mean can say kama. But one interesting thing about pandemic management say if we shut down our own test here, the hospitals will expose you. There will be more people who appear at the hospitals being ill, overwhelming the system and dying. So there are countries who had very fewer cases. But mortality are 4-5%. It's an indication say they are not testing. Yeah. But yet still know our mortality is around 0.5%. So so far no, it's good. Now, like I say, this is not a foundation for reckless behavior. This is only an indicator. Say if we continue on the path of protocols, by the grace of God, we can eliminate the virus. There's a difference between elimination and eradication. When a disease has been eradicated, it means it is gone out of the world's population. Some diseases sometimes you look for there are diseases like even polio, it resurfaced in a few places. But there are countries that have eradicated polio many years and no more population more. But elimination means that active count will be 0. At least it can reappear in 6 months or in a year. But for now, we are working towards elimination. Now, everybody should obey the by some mask. Obi, there are some people I'm very excited that they still come out openly in mask. You see Otunfo, you see Togbi Afede, you see our Ghana chiefs, you see President Mama wears mask, Ekufado wears mask. All our leaders. Oh, please, oh, man, please.
Now, our destiny is to say, Oyi, and
say, me kasa Obi, because it's my mask.
Now, who kasa now the show?
Obi, so, Daniel Kupansi say, Yanya a very precise, firm leadership. Na Nyankupa Dom, in the beginning, you know, now the fear was that, hey, I do it by through proper leadership, state intervention, cooperation, any bibia Nyankupa Dom bibia but together. Ama Ghana's story is very good. In fact, in America's health system, we started planning and preparing ourselves. There's a likelihood, same conform more abrochi. Yeah, and you I'll come there say no mechanisms now is very strict. Yeah. But there are people who are not too well in Europe and Americans. Ghanaian background, Ghana for. The research has shown say the climate over there supports viral activity. There's a difference between the virus can be affected in two ways. Its spread and its activity when it's in you. Yeah. When it's very active in you, the clinical presentation is severe. So there are certain places where virus will mukra the activity in other places. Yeah. And because research sort of has supported the African climate, the hot tropics, you know, and favor virus into say Sebio Ehono, some want to come in or be in life no so that we are also preparing ourselves. Obi, Ejapa. In fact, the first time I meet a Japanese man, who said the mean kind of agenda, but motive no ana. But
obey a Japanese first and son of testing at the airport.
Okay. So let me because I've written a few.
No problem.
Oh, you think so?
No, it's your decision. I mean, it's your decision.
Yeah. Once he's talking about the health issue, you just finish that.
All right, Obi. Let me touch a Japan small. Okay. Unse me financial guru. And me economics munye dinti sa take mo dey no. Me dey na say we Fred dey no. Please Obi me ba Obi me health economics kakra. Yes. And I'm a UMBA program, but I will not tout myself as a renowned economist.
You don't need to be an economist. No. But you don't need to be an economist.
I did a government spokesperson by Obi. I shall say no. Obi. Yes. I shall say no. The talk was that yes, some Japan royalties be. Now, didn't cry na asasi. Now, if you assassin radio, so chese Gabi, and I'll be the fire say Chebi Fono, and I the Chebi Mafia and a chimp chese comments no Sebi. Ubon say a commenter a profiling for Obi say I didn't know Obi call this route. And me see Mami kind of interested then cause Obi. A chemi go yano, you see and a Gabi Ochi cry $2 million. Hey, now then I cause Obi only to go in and realize say Parliament okobo esu womunu ko pass Business Income Investment Act. I'm providing for an SPV to look at our royalties. Now, this SPV na abayin sebi odin share to ena wa ba out to the SPV. Matie se bi mu ka se ena kwan efa so ena yenya information yama. Well, in terms of arrangement, all I know is that the entity has been set up, its creation has been successful. If Obi care about the processes leading to its creation, Sebi when a democratic dispensation, Obi timi chenadwin. Sebi oba kai se uche wadwin so nyamra. Obi. Anka obi adwin emranka at any point in time your mra 5 ID ejuma and this will lead to confusion. But me my democrat Obi chenadwin I don't dismiss it. Ohwe the article kan nyama ya. Sebi nyama me be me finance waka say we no say na ya no answers o me say wa take G. But in Kofono mu call the root of Ena and Sebi Chebi Mafia. Look, in fact, me see and me see be a nyampa. But me read and me see wow. On President John Dramani Mahamad's wall. Opposed to Bibia. Oh, please. Obi, me when me see really? What posted Bibia? yeah brother Adongo and I'm saying, oh wow, this is serious. Usha
Ekosiisen
talk no
on
wa
Asempa
profiling
FM.
microphone say oh grandpa and Nema Basa and I'm saying look you see Japan royalties fraud is the last straw that Chim Sakawa boys and grandpas must go. This John Domani man official page 3 days ago. Oh come on please.
No, he shared a post written by Isaac Adongo.
Yes. No, you see now come on, it's an indirect endorsement, if not even direct one.
Once you share,
Yes, you agree with the position. Oh, please. In Japan, royalties, this is a fraud on Ghana by now. President Mama, do you declare or determine fraud in your bedroom or your hall? It's not for you to determine fraud in your bedroom or hall. There are platforms. Yes, there are platforms you approach. What I say, Sebi. Now you see, Sebi, President Mama, yeah, ordinary citizen or a former president. Timepanacho, Obi, Pacho,
Fred, Maningi.
Obi,
look, you have your time.
Obi, your Obi, I find efficiency. Efficiency, say, Yema 2,000 Ghana. Say, if I hear Juma was sempa. If we output, every time 2-3 times, the Obi 2,000 year at the same period now. Just say we are efficient, using the same resources to achieve more. All I see in this arrangement is a government trying to be efficient in terms of generating revenue for the state and maximizing what we have. If client offers no office Sebi, you can express it and boni, but don't sit Sebi in your hall and our bedroom and say nipa no ye comfort. Now use terms like Sakawa boy cinema and yeah dia ese Sebi obia. If the assemblyman crackers are many problem, but if it goes to the level of a former president, it's not something that we should endorse. Now Obi, you know what? Ken Oforiatta Obia me Dr. Koboy me who say Obia Sebi only chronomotive. So but you saw my way. Sebi now you see anyone no pa you fa can entwe weni. Obi please I'm Obi look Obi
Fred behave
Obi Dr. Koboy, there are people before me by politics now Sebi we read about them, we aspire to be like them. And yeah happen I came to myself Obi because okay no people have worked, they've established reputations for them across the globe. But on Sebi perfect human being. If for your arrangement, are you successful or the Koye Juma, now you have issues, I raise it. But Niama to say, and I comfort, this is fraud in Niamano, Sebi. It's not Kasapa. Now, Obi, me Masuya Niama, in fact, before I even forget, I saw a reportage, say he engaged CSOs and all that. To give information
yesterday.
Obi, yeah, and it's one lesson Dr. Kobama picky in this, our national COVID fight. I say in the beginning, you know, some of the health worker groups, you know, Santa Tina comment about, say to Abba. So, maintenance dinner, me boss friend, Mr. Dr. Bra. Say, Uncroft way, say, why you're Uncroft. So, find out what really the issues, because on the name of Muchono, which means say, Bianca, and Komo Kosua, it might not come in the open. And then some of them said, oh, doc, some of us have to go to the press briefing before we get all the data you are working on. So, although you are doing something, we are stakeholders. Quickly. And Dr. Mahmoud Baumia said he himself will chair. So all the groups come together and okay, committee will share issues. I say, wow. Anka ye fan say him there and I want you inform one this mechanism. Anka issues if you back out and you're there. Now sometimes say genuine issues are with little effort, no, you are able to put in place. And it can, I'm sure all this one now doing that we say, oh, we are serving Ghana, we are doing this for the country. And the issues raised are issues are information for is more than available. So this is allowed, especially for the genuine people who want information. But Ojo Obi Otimiko for Attorney General comment in July. Not conveniently, why jai the warning no the aba just on your motive. And all is to feed into this thing. Say, oh, you have a election or more Yamusika. Look, I saw a post. I was like, wow. On one of my friends, Presec or some NC boy, post and he say, oh, sit there, you are getting 700 Ghana for NAPCO. And Osama son is going home with what $2 million or gabi. Let me see, wow. She kasa way, kasa nkofo bi di chi anajo. Odi kwako pe vote. Sa NAPCO guy no chrome how obi. Ebi mu kwa we members of the Unemployment Association. Sometimes sebi yempese we obi di. Na musu mu wol sebi kwan munanti so. I hear mu se mu be kwan a mmeso mu. Ene aban apɛ kwan bi no so mu in the interim until they get a permanent how do you call it? Employment jobber. Now, what I say, the Gabi Obi, me pacho, that kind of politics now. A be mutimi ye. I already share 2-3 months ahead. I don't share even beyond 6 months. No, a idea embwa today or chance embwa now. Me brother because say oh Ekufado call voter region. He did not even apologize to voters. I'm saying, hey. Oh, but
the main issue is not talking about.
No, but so you don't determine what he says. But do you determine what he says?
Obi, I've made I'm making the point clear. The creation of the SPV has been successful. Now, because it has been successful, it is unlike what their government tried to do in 2010, which received cabinet approval, showed up in the budget, but couldn't materialize. And like Sina Kokubaku said, it was just lack of the technical know-how to create the vehicle. No, that's my opinion, Obi. Because please, Masa, Obi, I have read the books and I've realized that your government had the intention to set up such a vehicle. They did not only it did not only reflect in the cabinet memo, it was approved. It showed up at the economic management team. The meeting was chaired by John Dramani Mahama as the chairman of the economic management team. It even materialized or matured into a bill which showed up in parliament with sections. They had the intention to create a vehicle, but it didn't succeed because the know-how was difficult. Please, me pacho. This is my opinion.
No, my friend, you have a pen, you have a paper.
Right.
You
have to apologize for these excesses. No. Obi. So my point is that this government, due to competence, capacity, know-how, and experience in the field, has been successful in the creation of the vehicle. But there are individuals and Ghanaians who mean well, who are asking for information or maybe how management was created and all that. That is something that I think is not boni. Sebi, the information I can start to share. Now, me can say this is not a private entity. This fund that has been set up is not Oko Boys Fund, OB's fund or Atix Fund. Once it's owned by the state, its audit it will come. There will be scrutiny for. Public scrutiny at a point in time, whether I like it or not. So, and I council say the last place you send a document, if you want to make it secret, is Parliament. Because Parliament, when we start scrutinizing bills and agreements, sometimes it's crack or war, and no crowd will be raising in Sasano. Scrutiny is very deep. So, my point is that it's a vehicle that has been created successfully. The motive is to have a way of optimizing our resources to increase efficiency. Say we would try one thing. If but some of your people, they went on a tangent of using it to do tribalistic things to profile people. I have heard genuine people who have asked for questions not on that tangent. They deserve attention. And comment and now now quickly on the votarians. Anytime you do election, anytime you do election, no political party be need dog. Ne tima ema nkrofo bi we particular region na kosru te nkrofo no nkaso mu na mu no mu nimu their own fathers and mothers. Obi me see anytime ebe do political year now the law for a particular group of people in this country by some particular political party grows even bigger than their ancestors who come from that region. If soldiers, officers, guns, Asantis, Northwest, all are in the army. And that's why I like the way the army does recruitment. They look at all those things. If Ghanaian officers go to a particular region in this country to make sure that borders, borders are, closed borders are kept in terms of the integrity, then someone say, apologize to the people in the region. Me, I come from Lejokuku. Please, I'm coming. I come from Lejokuku. We have about 4 or 5 army units within our setting. My people go up and down. The presence of a soldier doesn't mean I can't do my things. Who said if I see soldiers around me when I attended 48 engineers, I pass by soldiers. Sometimes even you have to salute and all that because they be over. We go about our normal duties. Why should the city president go and apologize? Because what about those who are in Doma, those towns bordering the western border? Obi, maybe I'll try and I will see more lights empire and I'm toilet windows. Obi, those there should Ekufado go and apologize to them because we try to keep the integrity of the border. What about those in the north? And Sakasa no Obi, Sakasa ni mitia makuma shishimi because a tool who apply. I say Sebi in some alcohol in some particular units can give pleasure and excitement. when it crosses a particular level, it can lead to harm for the person who is drinking and for the one who is witnessing the social event. That's how tribalism is. Where you talk about your plans for the voter people. If a votarian or the chiefs or those who come for the region feel that they've been slighted, there are platforms for seeking redress. It's not for you, a political party, to come and tell the Nzimans that they are being worried or being cheated, or come and tell Gans. I'm saying so because me cranphobia or want to end this is me mami. In fact, final describe before free as of frame special stakachin say, is there no way or bet me na kasananka NDC anka yenhwe kwa be no because na dan for the almost starting na ebi mu person many times because okoye MPP. Obi me and mami owo me didn't come want me check me reason NDC. Then I go to my sisters and realize that they had been obi amomot say I say heritage obi chese ebusa chese nkran butuano yeah amidi ma any NDC and erima I'm telling you. So when I won to be the parliamentary candidate, someone asked me, how do you close a gap of more than 12,000 in less than 18 months? My answer was simple, one word: relationship. I knew our problem in my constituency. Most of the people who vote for NDC, it's not because of look, there are people in Lejokuku. Can you imagine a town that is 10 minutes drive from the Jubilee House? They've not seen drain before. In Accra, drain Minka Road, drain. Just say omo dinsuo, ye dinsuo gu kwan so, obi dry area house. Obi un nice lady. Ye juma we be a ministry so. Wa share bucket wa dry area. No dey gu kwan so. But how come a particular group of people voted in a particular way when basic things were not coming? Because of this route. They've told him that this is where you belong. To the extent that sometimes, even when the group is not doing well, it's like a boy a bush on Ubani. Can you imagine? So that is why some people spend energy and effort to do that. And me, my fear is that when you go that route, it may triple over. Where Sebi, Nipano Free say when MDA, and even if you have to harm someone to protect it, they do it. Let's vote or seek for support from people based on our output, Obi. And I would encourage President John Dramani Mahama, based on his previous position as the former president of Ghana, not to use, how do you call it, tribalism, profiling to try and win the hearts of people. He should speak about his record. His record is the most powerful tool that can win him anything. And that is why the Ekofo-Addo government only speaks about the things we've done. Mikachi Nkomfo said it's not for nothing that President Ekofo-Addo, please, it's not for nothing, say President Ekofo-Addo, Sebi, and then now I call this region, or China, now meet these groups. The man is aware that it is your conduct and your performance that will determine your extension in terms of tenure. Now, Mepacho said our brothers and sisters should stay to the same route. This talk of votation, and the Papa said, and the Fred Cracker, Mimusa when he said, then we will not allow, and those just some few years ago. President Ekofo-Addo can say, and I be free say, and on the fire soon. They said, oh, condemn the man. He's a violent man. And they say, the Uka, police in New court in New and then we see him pinning, and I'm say, Obi, please, Obi, the loudest noise you can make is the one that you've done with your hands. Let's stick to that. We are depending on the Palugu project. So that those around those catchment will say that let's support this government because they'll bring them. Just 30 seconds, Obi. In Accra, Jamestown, their ancestors, Obi, their ancestors. I'm talking about 3-4 generations ago. Ask for a harbor at Jamestown. And now America say Ekofo-Addo is doing it for them. The same for Teshin. All my fisher folks tell me that Dr. Koboy, forget about MPP or NDC. It is your government that has produced the landing beach in over 70 years. So we are going this route. This is our strength going into December. We should stop the tribalism and how do you call it, profiling. Mamina
said Dr. Bernard Okoboy and Amotenin, the Deputy Health Minister of the Republic. On Ekosiisen, he is our official government spokesperson, MP for the Lejokuku constituency. Udua any other business, 5 minutes each now. Yeah, sorry. I think remember how now Kasa Yache. Oh, that's all the cage up. That's your friend send me there, pa. Irata Motor says open car batteries, Papa Tony oil, Speedmate batteries and oil. And I'm a movie friend, I'm a movie, you know. Fred, over your time, Bakasa. Right. Ubeka Banda constituency.
Bobby, I see Mami Kanebe. Fred post near
International Relations Deputy Director.
You have to
What is your And upe car batteries papa ne oil atwa speed made batteries and oil. Irata motors na deba Ghana ha nti ko ne yenkope bi ema. Fertilizer papa ne so yara Ghana na eton. Oye vegetable grower, oye cereal crop farmer, oye cocoa farmer. Ni na ubenya bi etumi ato. Ndi ye wo Activa, Sulfan ena Amidas. Ni na ye fertilizer din na meboboyi. Sa so ne ye wo asasira cocoa fertilizer ena ni trouble package for cocoa farmers ubenya bi. Ye wo grower, ye wo ni trouble ena crop lift bio for vegetables and also ubenya bi ato nti munhya ne so. Now ne yara Ghana eni juma 0302 767992 ubenya bi etumi ato. Ekosiisen so ne ewo Asempa FM Tabia herbal mix and so eba malaria, eba typhoid, eba fever, general body pains, candidiasis, loss of appetite, wedra enono, kone kope bito, oko kaishi na nabuache, Repage Ventures, and a King's Walk, ebi oha obeto. 0243 686861. Atik Mohammed, 5 minutes. Any other business?
Yes. Obi, some other issues quickly. A bit more people have raised concerns about when they Juma on all of that. Media, look, one say you contract services at arm's length when you don't have the capacity. What is here? So when him say yentimi nyewe until you outsource it. So you seek expertise from outside of your jurisdiction and your business you can say zone. Your AG that is supposed to be the lawyer for government and for all government institutions, state institutions. Ejapa, a government institution, is wholly owned as we speak by government through the fund, because the fund is wholly owned by government, and I know so the creation and also the creative you can say Ejapa. And if there's going to be any transaction now, my dream no. It should be the office of the Attorney General, because a lot of the contracts and agreements are buying iron. Office in the why would you go and contract services at arm's length when you have the capacity and the expertise to deliver? And internal make about transparency and access to information. And now where we told say the office of the Attorney General indicated vulnerability and incapacity to deliver. For which reason it became important say yanko contracting a bimu at arm's length. Ultimately, because if look, and this is the key
this
issue.
Whole culture of transaction advisors, legal advisors, outsourcing.
It was all about drafting.
Yeah.
And we call Attorney General's department.
Yeah, they have some of the best
drafters. And I just lawyers omo lawyers are almost in other areas, finance ne sanyo. Look, we share all the consultants are omo yejuma on the agreement. Law firms until lawyers na
law firms.
Exactly. Until why, and you see value for money in all public investments, all public spendings are very, very important. And you can value for money and we need say ubetimi ayewe at the least cost and at a lesser cost. Now and can you see the office of the Attorney General prepare agreements and all of that. What you say at the point it became a ding dong between the office of the Attorney General and me omu correspondence. In fact, some corrections, any commentaries are on portions of the agreement. These are nyoma nanka we wouldn't have to, because near ebimu echicho margin. For example, when it came to the term na say it is because the construction in the agreement till the last mining lease lapses. Until understand is that every mining lease in this country, but I think it was for the lifespan of a specific mining lease, which I say. Until a very important issue, and we need to understand why the fund decided to contract external service providers to work on this. The other issue soon say Ejapa is incorporated in Ghana as an external company. Look, it comes back to this same issue. What is this thing about going to incorporate Ejapa in Jersey? The issue about tax is defeated. Now, what Barbe registered in as an international company in Ghana? To what end? Until like registering Ejapa in Ghana as an international company, to what end? What is the rationale? AD&T.
No, apart from AR.
That is
ARG,
their subsidiary. No. Omankasa, look, when you read the memorandum of the Ministry of Finance to Parliament, and Oko, be careful, I can't see my documents. Are you sure you are? Very good, yes. And I refer you to page 3 of the memorandum. And point G specifically, the last sentence.
Yes.
Let me just read the entire paragraph so that we'll be here. Paragraph G, under background information. In accordance with provisions of the MIIF Act, the President has appointed persons to the governing board of the fund and authorized them to operationalize the objectives of the MIIF Act. Pursuant to this, the fund has incorporated Ijapa TO and the laws of the bailiwick of Jersey. The fund is the sole shareholder of Ijapa. Ijapa has incorporated ARG as his wholly owned subsidiary in Ghana. The last sentence, which for me is the operative sentence, Ejapa has also been registered in Ghana as an external company. And me be some who say, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Say, what incorporated company? Ghana for company. Yeah. What should I incorporating in Jersey? And you've come back to Ghana to register as an international company. Me do want me to say, when we could have registered some company in Ghana, and shareholders would still enjoy the very things you claim they will enjoy in Jersey, they would have enjoyed the same things. So, what is the motivation in registering in Jersey and still coming back to register it in Ghana? That's another issue.
So, we need information on that.
Absolutely. And the other issues, and it's I have said, look, if we were to use royalties, we should not be thinking about listing it on any stock exchange. If indeed royalties here and there, look, we could have decided to even go for a loan. It's even better. And the act mandates the fund to even use the SPV to borrow. What is here? And we could go to the international capital markets to borrow and negotiate for. Look, royalties. You see a low-hanging fruit. We could have negotiated for lower coupon rates. And with you ring fence the royalty receipts.
Yes.
And you bet me the chair, and you can even get a longer tenure. We can get.
But you are paying principal and interest.
Miba. Tear me. Make out not yet I did for 15 years. Sasikana aircon say royalties na aircon. We'll be paying dividends to shareholders for 15 years. Say yes, can aircon. What in American? So if you negotiate for a better interest rate, which is lower. If you negotiate for proper and obia uko capital market bia, they look, it is a risk premium that often drives the coupon rates up. And the almost share the risk, which is so low as far as the royalties are concerned. Risk be a nimumpo. I'm just a step shy of saying it is zero. But of course, gold prices fluctuate until there is some amount of risk. But it is lower compared to other instruments. And our other investments are amount for a year. The risk involved, And if you are able to get lower coupon rates and you ring fence the royalty payments, obet yes, now you still account now BA for royalties. So you would have had your upfront funding, which you can pay for and still have a lot more left. But say near bebia yene shareholders nature. And when him say the higher the dividends no those were ordinary shareholders no yes preferred shareholders
option for going for a loan.
Yes.
Which in essence will be a debt on our books.
And Nuna, I thought said that is a fear. But you see, this is a smart way of doing this because what was it? We hardly have Sika Edibitria.
Yes.
We rely on our tax revenues to go and pay and our service the debt. But when we see you ring fence the royalty payments until where
to study a year with Get Fund. To study a year with Get Fund and maybe ESLA.
With ESLA, for example, exactly. Oh, Wabing.
You securitize it.
Not necessarily, but something like that. Ebimu are even saying you securitize our debt, but that's a different conversation. But we know it's like under NDC, they created a sinking fund. And no, Sikabi Wawa, yedi shame. And no, Yamfa and Sanka. It is meant for paying debts are yako contracted. But we know you ring fence as who the share account bi mu obi am you mfa nya bibia biem the only purpose ni say ye di tua loan na ye kogi yen and I'm saying say if we ring fence the payments and given the trend of receipts ayenyan ye betime tua sa loan
but the difficulty with that option and I would refer you not about Fred I will refer you to a write up a lawyer Ace and Coma a year and he tried to distinguish between debt and equity and the fact said and the fact said government were the option of sticking with the existing format of getting the royalties as and when they are due or government can explore how they can front end some of the monies and invest in the economy now. To do this they basically have two options, debt or equity or a mix of them. Debt would simply that would be simply going to the banks for a receivables backed loan facility where you take a loan and then use the expected royalty payment as security. Typically, you open an account with a bank into which the payments are made, but on any payment date, if there is not enough in the account to pay what is due on that date, the borrower has to find money from elsewhere to make good on the difference. In this scenario, the bank takes no to precious little risk. The transaction is fully securitized. The government will still bear risk. Ghana, it appears, has done this with the Road Levies Fund and Get Fund. In the way, the point essential in this say gold prices are dropping, for example. Now say receipt and now we're expected from royalties, you still have to find money and pay the bank.
That is, of course, that is what comes with debt. It is true. But I'm saying, say, that's why I told you about the trend in royalty receipts and the projections. So if you go for a 1 billion loan, for example, you see the coupon rate is, say, let's say 5%, for example. And you have a debt tenure of say 15 years. Of course, if you are going to negotiate, you negotiate it coterminously with the lifespan of the mining lease. Like we are doing with this listing. So in this way, you have 15 years. And why? Like I said, this is attractive enough to get people to subscribe. Eurobonds, the way I we can do a similar arrangement, and now we can even go directly to a consortium of banks and get the loan. They will be willing to take royalties as collateral. And I'm saying that they are willing to have a longer tenure for you. Just imagine getting 200 million every year. I mean, how much will you be using to service the debt? A bedroom pension be crowd you been to. I think. But I'm saying that is also another option. Now, Mamiva, we with this just
30 seconds
near air cost now. There is the need for this, you can say, deal to be halted. Senator, all these grey areas, there are a lot of outstanding issues that need to be cleared. So that if you to me, why the haste? It is better to delay and do it properly than to hasten and get it wrong. So that at the end of the day, we will know say we are getting value for our investment in Japan.
Mamena say, would have to also find out the outcome of the meeting between the finance minister and the 21 CSOs, Ekosiisen, because they also went in with that way, say, there are still grey areas.
Absolutely.
If they were convinced with some of the explanations from the finance minister. Mamenka Yetiefo say, at exactly 6:45 p.m., Germany and Spain, the UEFA Nations League, the live commentary by Bremo, was Sempa FM 6:45 p.m. Germany versus Spain. Kobe Stone and Nana Chumberema Betanase at the commentary, Bremo. Mamen Kaimon so say and at exactly 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. Pepe Peno, the Minority Caucus. Ebe Bremo and on Minority Caucus that is for the NDC 8:30 p.m. Topic more discuss here unpacking the stinking Ejapa deal. Unpacking the stinking Ejapa deal. Guest Honorable Eric Opoku, MP for Esunafo South constituency, and a host Peter Bamfo. Minority Caucus 8:30 p.m. to 10.
No, you need to restate that. There are still 48.
Oh yeah, 48. As far as this agreement is concerned, the restated agreement, yeah. Uncle Kwekubako asked for the exact. I told him. Into that's where we are. Fred, me patrol over 5 minutes. I mean,
me say, me come from the very beginning. Say the academic work. I think I.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Ni Ghana for Peter Montiasiano. and I make one sem. Na many I take because say why the haste and no more to omoboase no more near the right impreco. No nipa nim say aka 3 months e kwa bato. Oni pa nim say election yokwa kuluzi. Ne oni pa nani abre person nya ne say. So our position cry is he want to control the resources of the country. Enti otu ne boase no lose election na ekwen be no be fast mat nyae. Enti we dey in haste, that is the reason. Hwe asema ye kan na man for the nam je kan ne basa nyina. Enya same thing kese bia o. Eno ne say Ghana say ete so no nyame na dom de nyama bia cheye. Ne ba ko ne say goldi or the maye kwa ya mbre ho ya nya adwuma bia ya mpa ne chew ono na de cheye fem.
Sempa FM.
Ama man be bro we say we are omuni gold bo masase mu ana me boa. Ye de nyame de cheye kwa. Ye na na mo bre so no mo say aluvia gold. Omo ko nsuo nkura omo timi say bi na no ma peke. Edurube bi o sa anwua ne kwa na ohora no ma peke no de omu nyama. Say no mo yes na ekodu mrebi. Ena mata mu tu fem kakra no mo nyomo gold. Eno no mo de si o madan, eno no mo de hwe ho, o mo de omu nyama nyina. Edum prepeso bi Ghana ha. Yesi galam say, ye nuanu bi etu gold. E de say nsuo ne ka ho nyina. Ni kware da ho pa ne say. Apant say ma ho kwa China for e be get involved in our mine ne ka ho nyina, response game mining. Now water bodies ne ense ne dasa. Who na ofi western ji unim. Them na Ghana for her no museum small to see majority to fem edit to gold no. They were not destroying the vegetation, they were not destroying our water bodies. Apart we allow foreigners to get involved and they could do some personal. Matisa ma forecast na gold na yet to all this year to crown no. On faso be na anya free so. Hey, na say anya fato be free so a ya kwan na ye schools are yesi, ya hospitals are ye ndua na ye di san man na just get free. E good contribution na aka bi. Ben nam say consolidated fund munti no. Ye ni any dedicated project Jaka say gold scan e dey see hospital we and I dey yakwan we but e kan nyina hu bi enti e yade aye hye danya ye mfa so e ye de na ne na edi no ka say edi ne e fa ne kwa obi ani ho otu ade edi otu no kwa ansa na mafo betu ade edi no omotena se adwe ho kwa etire evi edi Ghana ya fa ne kwa amafo dwe ho dwunyama bebre edi sidan e japa.
Yes.
Now we are Kenny. I say,
good father.
A good father. Ete Japaba be diga na man penny. Ni ye yaba. O Japade de atua man tremba ne busuafo ne nuanom. Eye dia no. Edi na no. O ja e chere papa de ato ho. Hwe o hwe onklofo de we have operated over the period that. Obi, you don't need anybody to tell you. Omo agenda ne say say to aba ne na lose election cry. Even whilst in opposition, we are still controlling the nation. That is what the agenda is. Ushe PDS ekobe nyina, that was the agenda. Ushe Japa project nyina, that is the agenda. Inyama edi nam nche ye kan nyina, ye kan de nyina, and ye kan de akama ya mafas mu de. It is to create for themselves. I've heard a few things. I think that's very legitimate questions. I told you General Department. You need a lawyer for all met me a year documentation. Why should it be Gabby's law firm? You can't almost some more expertise. Are they the only lawyers in this country?
The practice where we outsource transaction advice in our country, you know, did not start today.
I agree. And I'm saying, why should it be the president's cousin and not any other person? Why should it be the president's cousin? Is he the only lawyer in this country? The law firm can know what the expertise of the way. You see, when you create the impression, you say, oh, I'm more the expertise. Okay, I take a bush for more expertise to be your Obi Ufie, expertise to be your because when I wear no, and yes, I am free, Unya Faso, and some for the call a bush of Mukodi. I don't know, suffer man for the bank, one going to expertise or Ghana.
Not that I want to apply.
Me, but Otie, Omoyanotie. I'm advertising here. Kukuom no mko share ye bedroom kwa ye chalma ye chew nana wo de Gabi so man we manana senior minister ne ba oso be so mfa senior eno no mo ye omo de tuyama ye did you hear about it? Obi bisa una that man apply. Did you hear about it? They did it quietly in a bedroom. I'm sure in front of some whiskey maybe I'm wrong. What you say? Maybe I'm wrong. Edifuphobia me anya ko wan bia ye hwe na ye che o man na japade ye chede ma ye ho ye ye ne de we ye pe no ye ko kan ozo ti kwa pai no na boko ba osi den osi president mama you now want to come and lecture president mama on what he must say what he must not say. You want to tell him what this country ade amomuda ye no yes both of us we are not qualified now some of my cover president mama who Ghana ha so case of the same thing can you even stay in this country for one day some of my cover no nyama muda ye no Ghana ha o case of the same thing nyame na born on your person dwenti a aka Ghana matimi atena nyama mo ye aka matimi atena enti ejapa de no ye ma me no mo ye na motie enya asem bia so this kind of pair you mention it right now Esla sikana ke benya all the time energy sector the levy na the assault promise e wo ho nyina what am sa de nyina na de koje hu busu ande e di no prekope get fan yes set up edit to say and I'm say budget allocate to Ministry of Education and also ntino yes set up this vehicle van to na scan e benya de free also no na the infrastructure e wo your educational institutions wako afasa no so wako mortgage waji huska midini ne saska ni na nso wako road fan wata ma no so udi akoje ubedi ne abai ubedi ade so
road fund
yes then find out and waji esla waji road fan waji get fan ni nyina nso Abelba ya busia wa bo unkwa almost 150 billion Ghana cedis. Abembi eni ho in our entire history say wa bo sabusia. 5 minutes. Question na ye bisa ni say sabusia na wa bo no anye bi ajapade be na wa ye adama Ghana. Na ntube kire say hey mbrante ye galam say uchi o manu akogu prison. No ajom excavators machines excavators no. And ma che dem da ma mokrofo. Uchi China ni dia uchi onyo ko ni krom no got na ongo didi. Ghana ni de ochine de a na go share cells. Fred. Excavators mache. Omu concessions margin mafa. Kaka na kana Ghana for ebedi so mu chafa amam ho. Na body me kwa ya nwa.
Mama nas. Mu cha mani nyina. And o ka say o buy o ka say mama musa our questions. Musa our question be mama nas. Doctor Okoboy.
Say mu cha mani nyina fa.
Fred mam. Mensu.
Ogomedi njreba. Ogomedi njreba gobi. Njreba bedi komedi njreba. Ko manager bedi na mu de ko. Boni be ne ayobu.
Fred mensu.
Boni be ne ayobu. Kafra. O manager bedi na mu de ko.
Kafra bibia be fine. Bibia be fine.
Bibia mu kwa mu tamu fonfo bibia mu de ko.
Dr. Okoboy me patro meet you.
Obi. Asidana mi ni manyankopon. Se oyi obi ti se President Kufado mami. A enye sebio esu hu ena medibe memo obi sebi aboaye amaya tena office still ayejuma pa Obi once again no ye kasa enye careful na ohwa securitization of road fund abaya sebi oye the first time NDC aban and me senior lawyer in Isa
Inusafuseni. But it's been extended.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But the point is say na ukasa high say future inflows. Ye oh obi. Oh ente you see. Obi kasa e was on business na way na no otena your offering obi. Enye no pe makaja say omukoye Ghana Gold Company. Sebio incompetency amfa. Na say competence amashi. Look, how is it Moktari? How do you call that woman? Bawa.
Joyce Bawa Moktari.
Say, or President Mama niece, Anna.
Yes.
Na Ghana na Sebi. Oh yeah, no, Deputy Minister. Na Nipa ni Kroma met my apples above or no. It's unfair to the lady to say that because Sebi. Oh, I was quiet. You see, it's unfair to the lady when you listen to her. This is a smart woman. It's very unfair to say Sebi because oye President Mama niece inti Sebi ouna abaimwa Sebi is just family consideration. Now Juma engineers and planners here okroma obi above engineers and planners you need contractor be obey say Juma no. It's about capacity. If he has the capacity, he went through the right procedure and did the job. So be it. Obi. As I say, so Sebi ukasa Papa na also kasa se o pese o medium ampenyino. Onu ya ne mbusu afo Sebi o abemu omo ye ejuma. So what is okobo kokko mo asem ena mi ko kasa e bia kwan omo fa so di nya ejuma bi ena bia asem wo ho ba nya refa so mo ye ejuma now say be few months to exiting power president man one sign document approve ambassador and Kani brother enye court na ma be pio manka anka concession kesiye for mining sanga ekono bauxite also is that not so
yeah bauxite
obi yeah see unse mi start bo mo ben bebrea wan hwa na asemesi enti mi de si ha obi airport me enemy by me shedadi rapid LDT biaba
yeah
where antibody test sebi obetima nya bi $5 obenya bi $2
okay
obenya bi $20 sebi cheap test na ni price no has something to do with the AMA ade way me wo wanu me wo nsa no kakra na munya moja na me so based on line amenya no say ye positive je say wo antibodies wo moja mu enu ye soldiers o mu kutia virus no but say mu antibodies wo moja mu a eni ncham say na ye kasa wo virus in fact unya virus no you infected with the virus it takes minimum 2 to 3 weeks for you to develop the antibodies and the time I be say one antibodies no na say virus na kasa no clear
yeah
na ekufo ado so on person virus over Ghana ha enti this cheap test sebi ukoye enu wo kotokana o charge $20 kra say for 400 nekita virus na 95 di over Ghana
we fall under PCR now
in fact I'll explain so this when we say RDT rapid diagnostic test all of them in fact most if not all refer to this one that I have here in the studio my friend Bakuna
okay
I know so that test with them
very important
they say una ochiche they say odi omo abemu ya dan for asa una ochiche ni ama obi so this is a rapid diagnostic kit yeah the moja no to say within maximum within 5 minutes started 3 minutes now result no
no you pierce yourself a little nowadays
and then you drop it here now obi ain't we no cheap but because identify the virus in it is an antibody test it's a rapid one now confirm be say hey Ghana G150 no results in 15 minutes and a rapid diagnostic test and then a boy is obi for the information republic this is a classical RDT it is very cheap that's not what is happening now what is happening as Kotoka is an antigen test now you can say antigen tester a tester to identify the virus and the catcher say nipa no positive e just say nipa no as at the time I didn't jina Kotoka no virus no one mojem obi now PCR is a form of antigen test
okay
once a test is identifying the causative organism of the disease then it's an antigen test but PCR is also referred to as a molecular test or the highest or the gold standard because what it does is that it will take away the DNA RNA material of the virus the MR virus in your virus no now they are caught under an electron microscope to amplify it millions of times so that's why it's referred to as a nucleic amplification test that's how it's called nucleic amplification now obi the PCR say I bet you sequence a part of the virus map no virus na is a Ghana map I bet you say this region Ashanti region na Osaka no so usually they call sequence because viral the proteins no, they have names so let's say I'm just using some term AABBCC the AABBCC is an arrangement in the coronavirus so once you see that arrangement it means that Nipano is positive obi so after many samples for a virus no you can now put together all the sequences and have what we call a complete genome. Genome just say how the virus looks like. Now, you have to first do extraction of the material, put it under a microscope. So it's a laborious process and it's very technical. But this antigen test, what it does is that it uses what they refer to as the fluorescence immunoassay. Simply, this is what it does. Machine a coated material be with an antibody specific for only corona. Antibody just a soldier. I don't know, or bind it to.
And when you're in the airport.
Yes, this is what is happening at Kotoka. So the machine
I wish we could continue.
Oh, just a second. Machine pick the virus. So the point I want to make is that before we had this arrangement, now said Ghana, I was on 2 weeks of hotel bills. I was apart from 2 weeks. So now we TV for 2 weeks. We've gotten a solution now. Ultimately picking the virus and the reliability level is neck to neck to a PCR. This was done by FDA. And it realized that sensitivity is 99%. So Obi, say share that two on Ama say corona cases are Nyankopon Dom Ghana I conform inspiring and you want less than 1,000 active cases. ye ma obi sebi emfa virus in ba no obi say o doctor 150 they say boy obi if we get only one case of COVID et me fat through your airport now or you're highly contagious with very high viral load, one man can change Ghana's statistics and lead us to a lockdown. And just imagine the cost of a lockdown. Obi. So
that's
you pacho sebi o ufri abrochina o ba sebi yen can say yen person ba kroma. Now so Ghana for who buying omu health. Omu apomu di obi. A boy din. Chebi bia ebeka say won't our airport.
Ma me na say Dr. Okoboy ni ete ne nka no. Nkomo a ye be san so ato aso bi but say the Erika kan ene live commentary eba unim say uko UEFA omo Cup of Nations no ene omo asesa kakra in the friend the UEFA Nations League and Germany ni Spain ena ebo Kobe Stone na Chumberema